Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Charlie Kirk, the Christian Ben Shapiro, typically debates college students. However, this time he journeyed down here to the UK and debated some Cambridge students. I think it's safe for me to say he had his behind handed to him. One guy in particular stood out to me. It was this dude that we're gonna react to, and Charlie, he was just too much for Charlie. And just watch this.
With the war in the Middle East, do you think it was a defensible decision to tell the Israelis you wanted Trump Gaza, to agree for Israel to invade the Gaza Strip and to continue to murder thousands of innocent children and civilians in a pointless war? Is that in America's interest? Is that in humanity's interest?
Well, first of all, you should know something about Trump. There's something, if you realize with Trump over the last 10 years, he is quite the social media user and uses hyperbolic language at times. But let me ask you, in the conflict of Israel versus Hamas, who's the good guy?
He exaggerates.
I believe both Hamas and the Israeli government are evil, but I think also that there is no justification.
Are they equally?
There is no justification for the murder and mutilation of thousands of innocent people and children.
Well, let's
futile.
Let's hear it out.
There is no justification, Mr. Kirk, for invading hospitals, for bombing innocent populations and dragging out a war which is damaging Israel and the West's security.
You've made that point, but
it's not a point.
You've made that point. Yes, and I'm gonna make it again because you asked me a question. This is a response to that question, sir. The sweaty sir. Look at his forehead. He's sweating.
It's a moral truth, isn't it?
Yeah. It was also a moral truth that the war started because 1,300 Jews were killed and 200 were taken hostage.
He's getting angry
When you
now.
declare war on Israel, expect a firestorm in reaction. Let me finish. I let you talk. Israel had its holiest day of the calendar year besides Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah.
He's triggered, ladies and
50-year
gentlemen.
anniversary of the Six-Day War.
He's triggered. He's just gonna waffle about the same. He's just gonna read from that same sheet that he's been handed to by Mr. Ben Shapiro. We're gonna forward this nonsense and get to the kid smashing him again.
Or after they were invaded.
I'm no defender of the terrible pogrom that was launched against Jews on that day. But the justification for the death of innocents cannot be an infinite cycle of bloodlust. It cannot be killing tens of thousands of innocent civilians with a war with no end in sight, people who were not complicit in those atrocities. It cannot be bombing hospitals which children use. It cannot be bombing hospitals in which cancer patients are dying and starving in there. The deaths that have been inflicted, nobody knows the true toll, but somewhere between 50 and 100,000 people lie dead under the rubble.
Oh, very articulate, very smooth. Got his points across very well. Well done. Kudos, mate.
And what is left for Gaza except for to continue to suffer under Hamas? Because it turns out Netanyahu's political strategy has not worked. It has entrenched Hamas within the territories. To be a Christian, I would have thought, Mr. Kirk, would never have involved suggesting that the price for an atrocity must be an infinite cycle of bloodlust, that innocent people and the young population must be killed to avenge some kind of providential quest. How can you call yourself a Christian? Well, you just did.
I want to make...
How can you call yourself a Christian? Oh my God, because he has been defending his faith. He's a Christian. Yeah. And he's defending this guy that I don't even think he's a believer. He's seeing the hypocrisy in this. What happened to turn the other cheek? They're taking the cheeks of little babies and wiping them out.
Make sure we get our moral clarity straight before we proceed. No one likes what's happening in Gaza. No one with a heart or a soul or a mind likes when kids die. But you must understand who started...
What about you though? Not no one. We're talking about you standing there. That one.
The conflict so that you could end it correctly. And until Hamas brokers an unconditional surrender, of which they are unwilling to do, they could release the hostages and drop their weapons and their lives would be spared. Instead, they are using children of Gaza as cannon fodder, financed by the Iranian mullahs and dragging the entire world into this.
They're not using them as cannon fodder. It's Israel that's using them as cannon fodder. And they have, and their ministers have justified on many occasions that children are fair game. In fact, former Israeli lawmaker Moshe Figlin said the enemy is not Hamas. Every child, every baby in Gaza is an enemy.
This conflict. So I don't even know what we're debating at this point other than I believe that Israel...
Where am I? What am I debating? Seriously, this guy, like, I don't see why this guy is so famous. I don't see why we're debating. We're debating 50 to 100,000 civilians being wiped out. How are you not getting this? More explosives dropped on Gaza than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. How are you not getting this into your little brain?
I believe the facts. Israel was unconditionally attacked on October 7th. There was
unconditionally attacked. They've literally colonized a land since 1948. Unconditionally. Have you not picked up a book? Don't you watch documentaries? Like, are you seriously turning up at Cambridge with that level of reading and common sense?
Responding in kind. And I would just ask you a very simple moral question. How should Israel have responded?
Not with the blanket carpet bombing of the city, not with bombing hospitals. Of course, some kind of military operation might have been necessary, but not murder on this scale. There is no justification for what is happening with the enormous death toll that is being produced. I really cannot see how you come here and you have the gall to lecture us on Christian morality and then sit here and justify the murder of thousands of civilians.
That's the one, ladies and gentlemen. That's the roast. That's the roast of the entire debate. As a Christian who believes in morality, nay, absolute morality, how can you stand there and lecture us whilst justifying this? Kudos.
Is it working, Mr. Cook? Is Hamas dismantled?
I've never said that.
You just did.
Well, no,
this is your whole
in
thing.
war, these are called casualties.
This guy's getting decimated. What's his response? Casualties.
Of a war.
We're going to need to stop bringing this
again.
to
I'm not going to justify every military maneuver of a 100,000 person army. Instead, what I will do is I'll be.
But you do that for everything else. But over here, he suddenly missed the moral. Oh, the army's just so big. I just can't tell. When it comes to Russia and Ukraine, you're very clear.
Clear that there is a good guy and there is a bad guy. I honestly.
Isn't that the morality of a child?
Well, hold on. It's interesting you say that.
The good guy is the bad guy. The end.
Because a child who knows that Israel is the good guy, Hamas is bad, has a lot more wisdom than a student like yourself at Cambridge University.
Oh, he's made him very angry. He's made him very angry. It's not Israel versus Hamas, though, is it? It's Israel versus the whole of Palestine. Because 50 to 100,000 casualties are not just of Hamas. We know enough that whether it's Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, whether it's the countless genocide experts from Israel and outside Israel, they are all saying that this is a clear genocide, not self-defense against Hamas. It's the same old dead talking points, Charlie. We're bored of it. We're bored.
Glad that I will not have been somebody who has defended the genocide of the Palestinian people.
Oh.
And I think you will have to reckon one day that you have reckoned with.
Interesting. I want to close on this. So can you tell me what African countries currently ongoing a civil war?
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan.
Okay. Who's the? How about the?
But do you know what this is? Sudan. Next.
What Southeast Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right now?
Myanmar.
Good. And you have strong opinions on both sides?
You got Sudan, Myanmar. This guy comes ready, mate. Mate, this guy has been cooked so bad. I can smell. This happened, I think, a few weeks ago. I can smell the roasting from here. The roasting is so much, it's not leaving the atmosphere. This guy got cooked bad. I need to see that bit again.
Believe it or not, I know about Sudan because I'm not an idiot.
How about what Southeast Asian country has an ethnic cleansing going on right now?
Myanmar.
Good. And you have strong opinions on both sides?
Unlike you, I take an effort to be informed about foreign policy and to come to conclusions. You are a culture warrior. I believe when everything is done, Mr. Kirk, people will see you and the people you supported as corrupt, as selling the country out to the lowest bidder and of doing irreparable damage to a country I'm sure we all deep down love.
The difference
we'll have to reckon with that.
Difference
Mr. Kirk.
is when...
Oh, mic drop. Oh, that was a mic drop moment. Everybody else pretty much shook hands with Kirk. This guy, mic drop moment. Ended his career. His career, ladies and gentlemen, is now over. Look at him. Look at him cleaning the froth that was coming from his mouth. Look at him rubbing it on the Cambridge table. That guy got violated. It's game over, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Kirk is now being absolutely roasted and toasted, ladies and gentlemen. That was glorious to see. And this, ladies and gentlemen, shows us hope for the future. This guy, I didn't even expect him to be that on point. But the fact that he was, kudos. And I hope you guys are watching with your families and this motivates you to read, learn, practice debating, practice this stuff, because now it has become a war of words, especially here in the West. We over here need to at least make sure we can dominate discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's leave it down. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum.